Welcome back, everyone. I am joined, and we have seen 3 rounds of this Swiss tournament coming and going. One more game. Again, like I said, I am here with Infis. How did you enjoy casting your first match for this tournament?
I mean, pretty much it was great, but on the other hand, not so much variety. Master Yi was being played twice in this matchup. I mean, of course, it's going to be 1 versus 1 as we play this tournament, because of course in Riftbound you can play different modes, and we had to invite you to see what Riftlab has prepared for you in the not so distant future. You can take part in other tournaments that vary in modes, and well, perhaps you may take on a battle in 5v5 or something like that. We'll see how it goes. Maybe you will be part of this, but right now 1v1 Riftlab trials weekly. So let's look at the deck list itself. The first one is going to be yet another Master Yi for the round 4. So well, we see quite a lot of variation when it comes to this deck compared to the previous round, but let's go over it.
Yeah, so the biggest thing here with the Master Yi is it's going to be, same story here, little difference, but I'm going to try to go ahead and hit the battlefield as fast as I can, so I can then go ahead and defend my units in the battlefield, and rightfully so. If I can do that, I can win the game. And likewise, you're going to be having some big things. We're seeing Set here as well, which was a big difference maker in the mirror match on being able to add a lot of might by sacrificing a counter. And then also the Protector down at the very bottom, being able to add +8 might to a unit to really help take things. Likewise over here as well, we have the Kaisa, who deals in all things removal through spells, dealing 3 damage, 4 damage, you name it, she can deal it, and a lot of utilization here.
Yeah, but talking about the spells, the utilization of this tactic when it comes to Kaisa may be very rough when it comes to matchup against Yi. I mean, Yi can have the upper hand of just defying, going all over again, just trying to counter the spells as quickly as possible using what he has in store for the Kaisa. But if Kaisa manages to get it pretty early on, then maybe Yi cannot do anything about this. But we just need to see whether Yi can take it from the start. Let's see the first hands that we have. It's pretty rough. I mean, not so many cards that you would wish upon when it comes to Master Yi in this scenario. So we're gonna have double mulligan from both sides, Kaisa also, and oh, okay, that is very rough for Yi. So Kaisa will have an easy life when it comes to this first game, I think.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, again, like we said, the biggest thing that you're going to be hoping for as a Kaisa player is try to hit the ground running, get things under control. And if you can hold the battlefields, you might be able to stand a chance. But at the same time, a lot of your spells, when you're going in and attacking Master Yi's units, his bread and butter is having a bunch of cards in hand that can raise the might of his units. And that can be absolutely devastating for Kaisa. At the same time, though, she can accelerate a lot of units very quickly. And so we'll see if that's going to be enough to try to take down Master Yi. So let's see what can happen here and who can take this game 1.
So starting off, we've had in the first turn Brave and Plume Student being played, and as of right now the Conquer is happening. Of course, we're gonna be heading onto this sprite model, which spawns a sprite that may conquer once again. So this is a very nice start from Kaisa coming in. Unfortunately, from the other side, he was forced, Luz Coluna, of course, Master Yi was forced in order to play first mate to have anything to play around with. So let's see how he can react with all of what he had in his hand, because it's starting to look very good for Kaisa from the starting point.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. I'm taking a look at the hands as well. Having set in hand is going to be very helpful when having to go against the Kaisa. Again, you're wanting to try to get over that. Likewise, Kaisa can sometimes have a difficult time in trying to maintain cards in hand. So having something like the Yordle, where on play it replaces itself, especially for a 3 cost, is pretty dang good. Now, I do need to say that this is already starting out pretty well. I love the Sprite Mother because the readied 3 Might Sprite can go in and automatically get a lot of points. Now, the biggest thing that Yi can struggle with is maybe trying to go ahead and take a battlefield. And so we see, just like that, we're seeing the first mate go in to try to challenge with no answers. You have a little reassurance there with the Kaisa being tapped out of all of their runes, and so that is going to be an easy take.
Yeah, true. We have the first point, and the battlefield is being controlled by Master Yi, of course. We'll see if this is a proper way of doing this, but of course, just get rid of that unit in the first place from Kaisa's control when it comes to this battlefield. It was crucial, but now Kiana being placed, and we pass it over once again to Kaisa. Let's see what can be done. Of course, there's a sprite is going out before the hold happens, so no point taken, no point added to the scoreboard for Kaisa, but the play goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is going to be an interesting aspect of the game as well, especially with this first battlefield being picked by the Kaisa deck, Reaver's Row. It gives both players a little bit of insurance with their units. What it's going to be doing is when you defend here, you may move a friendly unit here to base. And now that's going to be something a little bit scary here, because that very well could be benefiting the Master Yi as well. If you go ahead and get over, for example, his Carnivorous Snapvine, well, just go ahead and retreat that to base and fight another day. And that's going to be pretty scary to have to encounter, especially as a deck.
Of course, and that's what we saw when it comes to Ravenbloom's student. This unit was being just dragged onto the base in order to save it from being obliterated by the first mate. And right now we see a showdown happening in there. Quite a lot of might when it comes to first mate right now. And will we see some kind of a reaction to it? Because obviously nothing much is happening right now.
Yeah, well, and that can be the thing, is you're contemplating, if I go ahead and deal, like, for example, 3 damage to this unit, that would buff up the Ravenbloom student by 1, and then also deal 3 damage. And it's like, but the Master Yi has 1 untapped room here. So here we go with a cleave that will add
Cleave.
+3 with assault in this case. So now the Ravenbloom student will go up. All 6 in this case. And that is, of course, only going to be on the attack. So using it well there. And then an Unguard coming in to add +2. And a Stupefy on top of that. to -1.
Yeah, so many of those spells being played out. And, well, it plays out for Kaisa in this scenario. That is a great spot to be having in. There's the second conquer that we see from Sprite Mother, and 4-1, first mate going down, Kiana only in there to be played. Perhaps you have something in hand that can come in handy, but Kiana has to conquer in order for you to get this additional rune ready for next turn to maybe bring Master Yi and some kind of defy or spell in order to try to, go back and forth with trying to obliterate your opponent. But frankly speaking, you can also draw a card when it comes to this Kiana Conquer, and I think that's maybe what we will see. Yeah, exactly. The Conquer has happened, and what else can we see here? What else can be done here when a Sprite Mother comes down? We got so many of those runes being exhausted. We got, of course, gear coming in hand. There's going to be Zonya, so that might be quite a lot of a upper hand when it comes to this matchup for me right now. Second Kiana going into the base, and what else can be done here?
Yeah, the big thing you're right about that with the hourglass is that if you go ahead and try to take the Kiana, well, okay, cool. Hourglass is just gone in this point. Kiana will fall back to base and be able to fight another day. At the same time, though, Kaisa has still done a really good job on being able to go ahead and hit hard and fast, being 5 points to 2. That's exactly what you need to try to do in this deck, because as the game continues to go and the fields or the bases begin to develop, Master Yi can start inching, their way back into this game, and Kaisa needs everything to utilize to make sure that they can get those final 3 points.
Right now, not so much being played out. We see how stuff resolves, because we're getting yet another Sprite mod in order to try to bring Sprite into the play, but will that be enough? We'll be seeing what else do they have in store for us for this showdown that's being played out on the Dreaming Tree. Right now we're channeling some more runes in order to play most probably an action card, and of course there's just gonna be Hextech Ray that deals 3 damage to Kiana, and unfortunately it has to go down, I think, not entirely because of the fact that Zonia is being used. So still you can play this card later on in the next turn, but your opponent's taken this battlefield and, well, just taking yet another point in order to bring it closer to the win.
Yep, exactly. And taking a look at the hands as well, Darius is going to be a pretty big factor to go ahead and play here. Now, his ability is going to be fun because if you play a second card, he can ready and get +2 might. Likewise, though, the set is still in hand. The mental strength can really make a difference for Master Yi on trying to take back a battlefield. And the Kiana is now going to be able to take the Dreaming Tree and then be able to also draw a card off of her Conquering ability. And again, like we see now, this is where Kaisa can really start to struggle because it is 2 cards in hand. That is it. Yes, you have a Kaisa that can come in accelerated, but even still, just 2 cards to 5, that can be a very big handicap almost to back in and get those final 2 points to win.
There's so much there. Can happen still, but not so much than we can think of. That might come. Wait, I think my game first. No, never mind. Just my camera froze. Can you continue?
Yeah, so with Kaisa, though, this is going to be the interesting thing. You're really kind of... Because even if you do manage to get Kaisa out, you need to utilize other things as well, because you're still going to have to go against the Master Yi's ability, which adds 2 might when defending. And so that can be such a difficult thing to try to overcome in this case. And so trying to balance that, juggle these options here, especially when you lack cards, can be very difficult as well. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this continues and what they are going to be able to do as Kaisa to get these games, because in a matter of 2 turns, just like that, you're going to be finding yourself at an even game, if not ahead as the Master Yi player. So very scary to try to juggle how this goes, and a Snapvine in hand can be very scary.
Yeah, this might come in handy in order to try to bring it back once again. Now we're gonna channel and pay 2 runes. 5 Carnivorous Snapvine, getting rid of the opponent's Ravenbloom student, and Kiana's taken over yet another battlefield. I think no more reaction to that from Kaisa, so we're just gonna be seeing double conquer in that scenario.
Yep, and then again, building up the battlefield, which is going to, or building up the base, which is going to be really crucial. Also adding a,
Kiana.
To Kiana to go ahead and make it at 5 in this case, kind of mitigating, the impact that Master Yi would have, but you're getting so much more might in this case to really defend this battlefield and get ahead. Then also the Kiana at Reaver's Row will then be able to bounce back safely if they decide to take that. Still, though, a Snapvine in hand for Luna. Again, And a smokescreen could be very good. We have the runes to be able to play a Darius and a smokescreen to potentially even really go ahead and have Darius attack in with some big stuff to be able to maybe try to take the Dreaming Tree.
Yeah, of course, but when it comes to what we have in hand of Master Yi, then well, I think this might be just enough in order to stop everything that Kai'Sa has in store for us. But looking at all that we have in this deck, this might be a little bit tricky because you need to still be able to draw the body rune. I think we're going to be having it still just barely one at least, because you know, it depends on what do we have exactly in our rune stock, because 5 runes are of calm nature, so you're gonna get at least one body rune, of course, for that, and it may come in handy when you want to play some cards from the hand of Master Yi in this scenario, which is of course set, which, you know, has a lot of might potential.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing here, is that right now Master Yi is looking really strong with what they've been able to set up. And we're seeing here that there's not necessarily a whole lot that can go either way. It is almost slowing down a little with what might be happening. And so this is going to be a very difficult turn, maybe trying to figure out how do I overcome this wall that Master Yi has built, especially as a Kai'Sa player. And it looks like we're going to be committing to go over to almost committing to going over to Reaver's Row.
Yeah, there was a slow decision making, I think, just back and forth going on to that. I mean, when it comes to this play, it might be quite of a tricky one because of the fact that, well, we have runes in there, but then on the other hand, not entirely it's just possible to take this battle because Qiyana is defending alone and the ability is just being used by Master Yi's side. So 6 might from Qiyana opposing to 5 might from 2 cards. Nothing that you want to do, so you just need to make sure that you can stack as many cards as possible in your base so that you can perform a fully prepared attack on your next turn, and try to, you know, just stall it out. Right now, 6 points. If you don't do anything next round, or Master Yi deflects that with some cards that kill off your units, then it might be just the end of you.
Yeah, well, and even so, I would almost go so far to even maybe play my Snapvine in Qiyana's battlefield and just completely reinforce everything. You know, you see that Kai'Sa has 2 cards in hand, and so it might just be a good move to go ahead and say, hey, I have a Snapvine in hand, or I have a set that can come in buffed, or things like that, and I'll go ahead and force my battlefields and say, well, with your 3 cards in hand when you start your turn, do you have it? You know, and that's going to be a good deciding factor here, because at this point, you know, Master Yi's ability might not necessarily need to be utilized. You just need to build up your battlefields.
Yeah, truthful. Although, let's see, this is going to be played out because 5 runes are being challenged right now, and I think Set is coming into the play, so we'll see him getting buffed, but yeah, now that's going to be just reinforcement when it comes to this battlefield set. Will we be spending this buff though? Will we be spending? Most probably not, so we're just going to be having 5
yeah, that's
right
gonna
now.
Be...
Yeah, this 16 and yet another Poro, so he just wants to reinforce at least this one battlefield, because on the other hand, I think, yeah, of course, Kai'Sa needs to go. Kai'Sa needs to go to one of those battlefields in order to try to take it, and, you know, not let Master Yi take both points at the same time.
Yeah, and so this is going to be the big thing, because especially being on the upkeep where Master Yi is going to be up to 7 this game, can again just keep reinforcing the battlefield and saying, all right, cool, here you go. And this is a great situation for Luna here, because it's going to be, okay, even if you do take 1, can you take this other one? And so basically he's saying, show me what you got here. Yi's tapped out. There's not a whole lot that he can necessarily utilize, and Kai'Sa has, a lot to work with, but maybe not necessarily the cards that we need in hand to get things moving. And so this is going to be a tough situation for Kai'Sa, and it looks like Master Yi might have made a little bit of a comeback here to be able to take this game 1.
Yeah, truth be told, there's not so much they can do. We've seen that there were 2 spells ready when it comes to the previous turn of Kai'Sa, but now with this additional card that's been taken by this player for next turn, I don't know if this is something that can be done, because there's 20 might. There's 20 might when it comes to one battlefield. There's 6 might on the other one, and what can you do? What can you do on Dream Tree? There's no path for you. For River's Row, well, if you defend that, then Qiyana just goes to base. I mean, if you attack that, the Qiyana just goes into base, and there's not so much that you can do.
Yeah, and so we saw in this case as well the Riptide Rex in hand, which can deal 6 damage, and that can go ahead and pick like a Snapvine, but if they have any buffs to go ahead and add, luckily they're tapped out, but in this case it looks like they are going to just go ahead and move the Darius in. Now that's also going to be saving the Qiyana. That's still going to go ahead and go up to 7 points once they finish the capture, but still, I mean, you're seeing your opponent, you're going to have basically one turn to try to take the upfield. A little bit of a standout, because there the Riptide Rex goes attacking in, and you can just go ahead and take out, the Snapvine, the set in this case, and try to get things moving. And so, I mean, that's a big difference maker right there.
Yeah, that's a big play because of the fact that if you spend the buff, then set might just as well have 8 might for the next round and whatnot. It's not a single chance that you can take anything from that. Right now, we're on the verge of this game being concluded, but like we see on both battlefields, whichever is going to be favored, because we need to see some kind of action from Master Yi. Otherwise, it's going to be a hold for Kai'Sa on their battlefield of Reaver's Row. What else is there to be played? Does Master Yi have anything in order to counter it? Because he has a lot of power on one battlefield, but then on the other hand, Kai'Sa played it perfectly right now in order to just have a lot of those units on the other spot that may secure the point in there.
No, you're exactly right. And top decking that Riptide Rex was the difference maker for this Kai'Sa winning game 1. Now, you cannot attack from battlefield to battlefield in this case. So what that specifically means is that you are going to be finding yourself not being able to move any units over. So only those in base will be able to do something. So Carnivorous Snapvine, though, is going to be coming out and then being able to move in just like that.
Okay, that was a very nice play. That was very much unexpected, but we saw Primal Strength, we saw the Snapvine, and it just made it all back. See the power of this ball, like at the most unexpected way. At the most unexpected time, you can just play something like that and get away with losing from the starting point, get away with losing in the crucial moment, and somehow you still get to the win.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Luno did just such a good job with Master Yi getting those answers that they needed. I mean, Primal coming in with the Carnivorous Snapvine, with the first mate to go ahead and get everything utilized to take over a very difficult battlefield. You saw how much might was there. And so with this now, we are going into the side decks. And Kai'Sa, I mean, was able to take that game 1, but almost by the skin of their teeth. And so with that, maybe adding in, another Riptide Rex in this case to deal 6 damage to a unit in a battlefield. Maybe adding a Dr. Mundo to have very high might to go ahead and attack, and maybe even likewise with the Vi as well, but they have a lot of 1-drops in their side deck, and is that going to necessarily be enough to try to get things going?
That might be something that Kai'Sa needs in order to bring it all back, but Well, the upper hand right now is that you know what to expect from the opponent, so that you can play the battlefield of your choice that can significantly boost your chances in order to try to get a tie in this series. When it comes to the battlefield that we've had, as you said before, from the starting point, it favored Master Yi quite a lot when it comes to defending, because if you have an alone unit in there, there's a lot of might, and if there's not enough might, then you can just retreat back to safety and call it a day. Just go to another battlefield afterwards on your next turn. And for the deck that has lots of those opportunities to do so, it was just a great choice of opponent's battlefield. So we'll see what is there in store for us from Kai'Sa for the next one.
Yeah, exactly. And so now they are done pretty much with their mulligans. We'll see what they are able to draw in their opening hands, because we are headed into game 2. Now, with that being said, this is not going to necessarily, both these competitors are undefeated right now. And so if they go ahead and win, this can be a very big deciding factor on how many points they will get in this trial to be able to help qualify them for that final tournament, which is going to be coming here in a little bit. And so here we go. Mulligans are commencing. Battlefields are going to be chosen. And it looks like we are going to go with another, Grove of the God Willow. And let's take a look at the starting hand.
Yeah, there's Grove of the God Willow and Targon's Peak. So looking at the hands, in a moment we'll see what the players will get onto the first turn that they play in. Looking at that, this is quite rough for Kai'Sa. Starting off with something like that is not what you wish upon. There's going to be double mulligan from both players, but 2 cards from Kai'Sa, and I think 2 cards from Master Yi too. And there's nothing that you want to be playing around with when it comes to Kai'Sa. So Master Yi will have a lot of opportunities in order to firstly, first of all, start, get your unit ready for the next turn, and then conquer the next one and hold, especially with the portal.
Yeah, the Poro is going to be one of the best cards that you can go ahead and use early game. That's the one you want to have game 1, because the biggest thing is it has shield. So when it goes ahead and defends, you get to add +1. And so Kai'Sa is going to be able to maybe play a spell to be able to deal 3 damage. But otherwise, this is going to be looking really good.
Okay, we're going to Groove of the God Willow, so never mind. Okay, never mind. This is just going to be obliteration. Wow. If they don't have any spell in there, so yeah, this is just going to be on guard from the starting point. So +2 in there, so this spell does not work exactly. We have 1. Okay, do we have the play in here? So many spells from the starting point. So we're using quite a lot of this starting hands opportunity in order to make sure that Master Yi cannot conquer from the starting point, and it does not happen. But we see Qiyana being played into the base, although there's no one at the battlefield, so that's an opportunity for Kai'Sa to bring something into the base. But if the draw is not on point, then what can you do? You just need to play, I don't know, Kai'Sa maybe?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. The Kai'Sa could be a very good play here. You pay 5 and then can recycle 1, but it looks like they're going to be going with the Darius. They might, they don't have a second card to ready him up, so I almost would rather have gone with the Kai'Sa play to go ahead and take a battlefield and, even draw a card off of that for maybe some removal as well. Because right now the Qiyana is going to be moving into base and then also being able to activate her ability to draw a card into hand and also score the first point of this game too. So right now they're starting off pretty strong and also going to be able to keep building up their base to be prepared for future turns that might be utilized, and also buffing up the Qiyana as well.
Yeah, there it is. And you know what? This nothing that you can do about this. That is, he's going to have 5 might, plus Kiana has 5 might, so that is going to be a tie if the fight resolves without any further spells. But given the fact that Kai'Sa is somewhat of a, spells deck, so we might be seeing some of that, especially after we saw 2 of those spells being played out in the first turn. What else is there to be done? Because this is a tough spot from the starting point for Kai'Sa in order to bring it all back, but we have a lot of runes being channeled. Okay, we've got yet another spell coming in there, so
yep, that shark is going to be a big difference maker, but Master Yi can also play any spells in this case to buff up the Kiana in this case, and that might be exactly what we see. Oh, with no spell damage or ability damage to deal anything during the turn with that Unyielding Spirit, one of the biggest cards that Master Yi has in his arsenal to shut down Kai'Sa, and right there, Shark is now unable to deal 6 damage to Kiana.
Now, I mean, the sun was just tough on his skin, so right now, Unyielding Spirit coming in clutch for Master Yi, so we see that everything is just going according to the plan for the side of the control deck, and this is not looking good for Kai'Sa whatsoever. So right now, yet another defy. Cleave is not working. Whatever, you can play anything at me, buddy. You can play anything, but I'm just going to use my defy. I'm just going to use my Unyielding Spirit, and nothing breaks my defense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be the hard part here. Is the scary part, though, is Darius and the Riptide Rex being out onto the battlefield is a lot to be able to attack into something. And so they can start taking the battlefield. Yi isn't necessarily too far ahead, being 1-0 all in all. And so right now, it's still anyone's game. And right now, even maybe a little bit in Kai'Sa's favor. We see 2 cards in Master Yi's hand, 4 into Kai'Sa's hand. That can be a pretty big difference maker. You do need to take the Grove of the God Willow, but otherwise, I mean, you're looking really good here.
Yeah, very much looking great when it comes to all of that. So not only do you have 7 might right now on Kiana, but also you got another unit that can start conquering. Looking at Targon's Peak, when you conquer here, ready 2 runes at the end of this turn, that is quite a lot, and Master Yi could very much benefit out of that. And the fact that you also get the buff from Master Yi onto this one would be very beneficial in order to try to defend this one. We see First Mate being played out, so you can ready up your other exhausted unit, and exhausted unit was Kiana in that case, because of the fact that she was moved to the base by the player, and then by the might of First Mate, you can move it once again but to the different battlefield in there. So is there any reaction of some sort when it comes to all of that? I think not at all. So yeah, the Conquer will be there for Kiana, for Master Yi's deck, and 2 runes, 2 brand new runes at the end of this turn would be a lot of advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that was such a smart play that they were able to do, because Kiana, when they started their turn, could ready up and move back to base, and then immediately going ahead and playing First Mate will ready her up so she can again draw another card for this Master Yi player, and then the Pit Rookie can go ahead and take the other battlefield. You're not going to score a point off of that because you still technically owned the battlefield, but still, getting a second card draw from Kiana is such a great play to be able to continue this momentum as we go 3-0 with Master Yi. And with that, we're going to be taking a look here at the hands. One thing that catches my eye, of course, is Thousand-Tailed Watcher. Minusing 3 to all units at battlefields, and then it can come in accelerated and just absolutely devastate the board. So that might be very well the card that you need to be able to get back into this game.
But is it possible for them to play something like that at this point? Well, let's see. I mean, the fact that we could have gotten a little bit of a better situation for Master Yi makes it that Kai'Sa did a a pretty good job when it comes to defending for the first turn. This one with the spells, so that's all right. But right now we're going to be seeing Sheldon on Grave of the God Willow, and how will that resolve? Sorry, it's going to be Riptide Rex coming in there. So, what else do we have in here?
Yeah, we'll see what's going to be going on with this, because Riptide Rex is going to have a pretty big choice to make here.
Is he coming there or is he not coming there? Because
it looks
we
like
almost
not yet.
saw that. We almost saw that. I got a little bit confused why we did that, but yeah. So we're just thinking. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of thinking in this game, but rightfully so. You got to anticipate. I mean, 4 cards in hand for, Master Yi, 5 cards in hand for Kaisa. What cards might they be having in hand? If I take this battlefield, are they just going to be able to take it right back? And if so, what's that going to mean for me? At the same time, the Kaisa has a difficult choice here as well, because you're going to be having potentially the Watcher that can come in accelerated this next turn to take both. And right there, we see a pretty great card coming in to be able to deal 4 damage and also draw a card. That's going to be Void Seeker to be able to do so. Now, 4 damage. Does Master Yi have a response here, or even choose to use a response? It looks like he does.
Yeah, this is just going to be, once again, use the card that is just brave for this Kaisa deck. So it's a Kneeling Spirit, and truthfully speaking, I don't see much ways for Kaisa in order to counter this, because we saw 2 Unyielding Spirits played early on. We still got 1 to play. We still got 2 Defies. We can still play On Guard so many times. Is there anything that can possibly go well when it comes to this? Maybe, as you said before, Thousand-Tailed Watcher. That's the play you want to go for, but, well, is that going to be enough?
Again, though, that's going to be the hard part, though, because in order to play Thousand-Tailed Watcher in the next turn, you're not going to be able to recycle any of your runes. Likewise, though, we just saw Master Yi's hand. Luna has a lot of answers to be able to add might to her units. So even if they go ahead and attack it, I mean, you're going to find out one of the answers right here. That's 2 to 5, soon to be 4 with Master Yi's Legend ability. And then if anything is added on top of that, Darius is going to be struggling here. And just like that, we see Discipline.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be adding +2 might and drawing 1 card. So the card automatically replaces itself. And that is a lot added right there.
Yeah, there's quite a lot, but we still have a counter being played in there. So how will that resolve? Because 7 might on Darius, and do we have anything to make sure that we can have a chance? Discipline, once again, we're gonna have the second Discipline being played out, so it's 7 to 7. We got a type of players just need to go out with those cards, but when it comes to all of that, what we've seen, it's actually kind of alright for Master Yi, because he gets to draw 2 cards and have a brand new set of something, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's going to be the big thing here, is that the Master Yi was able to go ahead and take care of that, and having a Carnivorous Snapvine in hand and a Defy, that's something that can really shut down the Kaisa, especially when they're trying to deal the 4 damage needed to take a battlefield. Still, though, Kaisa is finally on the board, getting 1 point, but still, outside of the Snapvine, they're going to need to maybe try to do things. They do have Master Yi on the side of their deck that they could go ahead and move in. It does have the ability to come in readied, but even still, that can be a difficult situation to try to get over that Riptide Rex.
Yeah, but also you need to watch out whether you have sufficient materials, resources for later on into this game. Right now, we're going to be using the Snapvine in order to perhaps kill off the other unit at the battlefield, and with On Guard being played out, this is going to be something that is happening, of course. So at the bottom, battlefield is being cleared out, but Kiana's now going back to the base in order to try to, manage those resources a little bit better. As we seen before, there were basically one unit and two spells, and and this alone unit was being played right now. On guard being played, so you have basically one card, which is defy, so you can just defy one spell. And what else? What else can you do? You don't have anything to be played out. Maybe you draw one, but what card would that be if you score another defy, if you score another spell? Not so great, because you still need to have those units in order to make sure that you still get points.
Yeah, exactly right. And that was just such a really great play, because the difference between Snapvine and Rex in this case is going to be that Snapvine actually deal damage to each other. So naturally, Snapvine was just going to be trading in with the Riptide Rex, but then adding that buff to it meant that it could go up to 8, and there was no responses, knowing that Kaisa was fully tapped out in that case. And so just a great way to get in there and get some, great clearing of that Riptide Rex. That is a little bit of wiggle room, especially now that, Master Yi is up 4-1. That's a very big difference maker right there. And I mean, you can just see how consistent and strong Master Yi can be as a competitor. And again, taking a look at the hand size, though, big difference. But still, at the same time, Yi has some great answers, but Thousand-Tailed Watcher is still something incredibly scary. But again, only necessarily if you have the answers needed. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they go in and try to get back into this game. But I mean, hey, having those 8 runes to be able to utilize as the Kaisa player can be a pretty big difference maker.
Okay, we see that the Void Seeker is being played out, so we can just try to make sure that first mate is going to go down with the card being thrown afterwards. If we see something, okay, the Defy is being used, so nothing of that is being used, so the card is not being thrown, and first mate still alive, but no runes available, so On Guard cannot be played. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
so it just makes it that Kaisa can do what she wants, but unfortunately no units available, so that will lead to Master Yi getting yet another point, I think.
Well, no, not necessarily, though, because we saw the Darius in hand, and one card has already been played. And so Darius can count himself as the second card,
true.
come in readied, come up +2 in that case, and with Master Yi now tapped out, it can just go ahead and take that battlefield and get right back into the fight.
Oh, but still it's not happening, because the players want to resolve what is.
Well, and I think what they're trying to figure out is, because they played the Void Seeker, but it was countered, does it count as the second card that was played for a turn?
True.
And so I think they decided in this case it does not count because it was countered.
Because of the fact that it was countered, then the card is considered not being played, so the Darius's ability does not work when it comes to all of that. The Darius's text is just being shut down, so it got played, but unfortunately the plan, it didn't work out, and that's why it's the way it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You need to finish the card being played, and if you defy it, then the card is not being played. So, yeah.
Yep, and so that's going to be the hard part, because, I mean, even outside of that, there wasn't necessarily a whole lot that they could do. Right now, though, Luna is going to be seeing himself at 6 points and switching out to have a little bit more defense on holding these, because if they hold both battlefields, then Luna will take this game and the match on top of that against this Kaisa. Still, though, the Thousand-Tailed Watcher has the ability to -3 from everything, and both of these battlefields can be taken in one quick turn. On top of that, too, the Cleave can even add a lot to Darius as well to make him a 10 might unit, as that being your second card for the turn, and they have the ability to be able to do so. And so they have enough to be able to get that. There's the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, -3 to everything, and now with the Cleave potentially coming out, that will be the second card to get Darius to 10 if they so choose to go that route.
Yeah, and right now Thousand-Tailed Watcher is ready, taken out most probably the Snap Point, but we'll see if there's any reaction to that. Got
Yep,
plus
Master
2
Yi's ability.
might.
is gonna
Yeah,
add
true. Maybe Primal Strength can come in
Primal Strength
handy,
would almost
but
seal the game.
yeah, true. But do we have it here? Do we have it here in order to try to counter everything that Kai'Sa is serving us?
Yeah,
I think they're just trying to see if it's the end, or do we still play? I don't know.
Well, there's still a lot of
There's still
answers
a lot of
that could be
possibilities.
had.
True.
Because they could still even add Cleave, for example, to the, to the Thousand Tail in this case, and put it at 10 as well. So even if you do go with Primal, is that going to be enough? It still would be in this case going up to 12, but outside of that, it's like, that's, do you want to risk that in this case? And it looks like at this point, they're going to go with an Unguard, adding 2, so now it's 7-7 in this case.
Yeah.
But will they then go and add Cleave?
Will it be cleaved in this scenario? Perhaps, yeah, truthful. So now the might is being added onto the Watcher, so 10-7, and yet another reaction coming in. Okay, Primal Strength, we got quite a lot of this, so 15 might to 10, and the Watcher has to go down because we haven't seen any available counters to what was there.
Yeah, and so I think they're just kind of playing it out like, hey, do you have any answers to Master Yi as well? Master Yi is going to be coming out on the next turn readied, and everything's going to attack in. And so with that, I think they are saying that Luna is taking the game and the match against Kai'Sa.
Yeah, truth be told, it was just like that Master Yi took it. It was just, I think, a matter of time because of the fact that Kai'Sa just didn't have what it takes in order to counter it all. Not so many spells, so many units at hand, but not what this deck was designed to do.
Yeah, and that's the tough part. Yi can be such a difficult deck for Kai'Sa to be able to go against, and you see why it's become one of the most played decks. And I mean, Luna did just an absolutely great job showing what exactly it can do. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I am here with Infist, and we are bringing you even more matches tomorrow, though. We are done for the day. These 4 rounds are done, and thank you so much for being here.